Hey everybody, welcome to our channel Living in Richmond, Virginia, where we show you exactly what it's like to live, work, eat, and play right here in our VA.
This past week was spring break and our 4-year-old daughter Ava got to live her best life while we made this video.
So today you're going to get to see 5 really fun things to do with kids here in Richmond, including the Richmond Zoo, a trampoline park, the Science Museum, a retro arcade, and Maymont Park.
We are going to start with our favorite activities first, but be sure to watch this whole video because they are all great options depending on the age of your children.
If this is your first time to our channel, welcome. I'm Taylor Jefferson.
And I'm Sarah Jefferson.
And we own and operate Jefferson Grove Real Estate.
We are your Richmond relocation experts, and our channel is your one-stop shop for all things RVA.
We have over 90 videos all about living in Richmond, including area tours, neighborhood tours, fun things to do here in Richmond,
and lots more coming up, so be sure to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out.
Now, with all that said, let's dive in.
Okay, so these first 2 fun activities with kids are tied in my book. We had a blast at each, but we're going to start with my favorite, which was the Richmond Zoo. The Richmond Metro Zoo is located at 8300 Beaver Bridge Road in Moseley, and it's open year-round Monday through Saturday, 9:30 to 5. Admission is about $18 for kids and $24 for adults, and there are various fees for extra things like rides or food for the animals. This is a pretty large zoo situated on about 150 acres, and we spent about 2 hours during our visit, which was perfect for us. And there was a lot of walking, which as a parent, any activity that expends your child's energy is a win. The exhibits are pretty good with a decent amount of different animals to check out. Their website says it's home to over 2,000 animals and over 190 different species. I am sure there are larger zoos in other major cities with more animals and attractions, but the Richmond Zoo didn't feel lacking, and we think they had every type of animal you would want and expect to see at a zoo. One of the big claims to fame for the Richmond Zoo is the dog and cheetah that are friends, Kumbali and Kago. Kago is a lab mix that was raised with Kumbali to provide companionship for the cheetah. Probably the most fun we had, though, was feeding the different animals. Like most kids, Ava's favorite is the giraffe, and the Richmond Zoo has plenty of them to feed. Me personally, I really loved the camel feeding station. I don't think I've ever seen a camel up that close before. And right behind the camel feeding station is a small petting zoo with goats that are a little less intimidating and really popular with the smaller children. There's also a bird cage where you step inside and the birds will fly right up to you and eat off a popsicle stick covered in special bird food. Walking around the exhibits and feeding the animals aren't the only things to do here. They also have a treetop zoofari, which is a zip line course that will take you over top of some of the exhibits. Your child has to be 8 years old and over 54 inches tall to participate, so we will have to save that for a couple years down the road for Ava. Lastly, there is also a 15-minute train ride through 8 acres of open space in the zoo through areas not accessible by foot with free-range antelopes, ostriches, and chimpanzees. Overall, we had a great time at the Richmond Zoo, and we will definitely be going back soon.
Alright, next up is Defy, which is a trampoline park, and it was actually my favorite. Sarah had taken Ava to Defy about a week before we all went together and raved about how much fun Ava had there. Now, I had never been to a trampoline park before, and I wasn't too sure how I was going to like it. But again, I absolutely loved it, and it was definitely the most fun I had out of any of these activities. We went to the Defy that's located at 205 Town Center West Boulevard in Short Pump, right beside the mall. They also have another location in Glen Allen, and there are a few other competitors like Surge and Sky Zone that you should check out too. I had a blast just jumping on the trampolines with Ava in the open area, and that's probably where we spent the majority of our time, but Defy is a very large facility with a lot more to do than just that. Towards the side wall of Defy, there's a playground area and a basketball court. Sarah and I also tested out the swing and trapeze where you can launch yourself onto the landing pad. On the back side of that, there's also a pretty fast slide. Now, the slide didn't exactly shoot Sarah and I up into the air, but I bet smaller kids might get some airtime. I tested my hang time skills in the basketball dunking area, and safe to say I won't be joining the NBA anytime soon. There's also an obstacle course, a Ninja Warrior wall, a dodgeball area in the back, and a spot with large trampolines where you can jump onto a soft air-filled landing pad, which was definitely a hit. Seriously, we had a smile on our face the entire time we were there, and this is another great activity if you want to get some of your child's energy out. I am certain I burned a ton of calories myself too. I actually broke a sweat, and it was a great reminder that I'm not as young as I once was, because the day after, my feet, ankles, and lower back were all pretty sore. Meanwhile, Ava was completely unscathed, and she's already begging to go back. It's definitely in my back pocket for any time I want to take her somewhere fun and expend some energy, and if you haven't been to one yet, I highly recommend it.
So our next fun activity to do with your kids is go to Maymont Park. Maymont is a beautiful park located in the city of Richmond, but when you are there, you would never think you're anywhere close to a city, let alone right in the middle of one. We would recommend parking at the western parking lot at 1099 Spotswood Road because this is right by the Maymont Farm. The Maymont Farm has a spot where you can feed some of the animals, and there are miles of paved walking trails throughout the park that will take you first to the other animal exhibits, including bald eagles, bison, deer, bobcats, and more. Now, there aren't as many animals to see here as there are at the zoo, so think of this as a visit to a miniature zoo, and if you don't want to drive all the way to the Metro Zoo, this is a great option. Be sure to bring comfortable shoes because some of these walking trails are quite steep, so you will get your workout in for sure, and on hot days, be prepared to sweat. At the bottom of the trails, you will enter the Japanese gardens, which are simply stunning, and one of my favorite attractions at Maymont. If you visit Maymont, don't skip visiting the Japanese gardens, and it could be a great spot for a family picnic. Towards the northern side of the park is the Robbins Nature Center, which is like the aquarium section of Maymont. The facility is very nice, and inside there are exhibits displaying lots of native animals to the local James River ecosystem, including turtles, snakes, otters, and lots of different species of fish. Now, the Robbins Nature Center does cost money for admission, and I'm not certain we had enough fun there to justify the additional cost, but that's just our opinion. But if you're going to make a day of it and want to experience it all, be sure to include the Nature Center as part of your visit.
This next one is a lot of fun for both kids and parents alike. Up next is Draftcade, which is located on the first floor inside the Short Pump Mall. Draftcade offers a selection of over 70 retro-style arcade games, and there's a full-service bar for the adults with a large rotating draft list. Kids will love it because it's video games, and parents will enjoy it for the same reason, with the bonus of a nostalgic trip back in time to the days of the arcade. The best part is that you only pay $10 to get a wristband, which provides you unlimited play on all the games, no quarters or tokens required. Now, their game selection is okay. I'm certain game snobs might turn their nose up to some of the arcade games as not being true classics, but I'm more concerned with was it a fun experience or not. Beyond just retro arcade games, Draftcade also has a bunch of pinball machines, which Ava enjoyed playing, and like every arcade ever, they also have skee-ball, which is Sarah's favorite. If your child likes video games and you want a nice dose of nostalgia, we highly recommend visiting Draftcade. And if this says anything about how much Ava enjoyed it, she was crying when we told her it was time to go.
All right, the last fun thing to do on our list is to visit the Science Musuem of Virginia, which is located downtown in the city of Richmond, right off of Broad Street. Now, the reason we saved this one for last is because we had the least amount of fun here, but we know it's because Ava's a little too young to really enjoy all of the exhibits. The Science Museum has a total of 4 floors to explore, and they do have some options for younger children, including a play area in the basement and an animal lab and art lab on the upper floor. And no surprise, but the animal lab was Ava's favorite. The rest of the exhibits are all either permanent exhibitions or traveling exhibitions. During our visit, the speed exhibit was on display on the main floor. There were radar systems checking how fast you could run or throw a ball. And there was an air hockey machine where you could play a robot and test your reflexes against the machine. Ava also had fun playing with some of the interactive light exhibits on another floor, but again, many of these were meant for older children. Lastly, the museum offers live shows and demonstrations, and the Dome Theater with a concession stand that plays 45-minute educational movies in IMAX. We do plan on visiting the Science Museum again once Ava's older, but if your child is older and loves learning and playing, the Science Museum is a great option. So there you have it, 5 fun kid-friendly activities here in Richmond.
Let us know if you had a favorite, or if you've been to any of these places before, tell us what you thought of them.
We have lots of other great videos coming up, so make sure you're subscribed to our channel so you don't miss out.
And if you're thinking about moving to the Richmond area, you will definitely want to hit us up.
We have the knowledge and experience to help make your move as stress-free and easy as possible.
Thanks for being here with us today, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.